Today we're checking out the most fun combo of NASCAR and Automobilista 2's update, and that is NASCAR Cup Series racing on road courses. And that's what we're doing here today at Interlagos. We're here in Brazil as Christopher Bell and William Byron lead the field down into turn number 1, as I have 15 laps to start from the back of the field to work my way as far as possible up through this grid, as well as manage changing weather conditions as I drive Trackhouse Connor Zillish's number 87 2025 Cup Series Chevrolet Camaro with the Red Bull sponsorship on the hood. As this is going to be an exciting one. Now you guys are going to really see the best of what Automobilista has to offer, and that is, like I said, road course racing. The oval racing, we've covered it a couple times. It's not that great, but I have played this game for over a year now, and I have had maybe not quite a year, I can't remember, but it's been a blast when I do road course racing with road course racing cars. Now we're taking these cup cars here around Interlagos, and it is a lot of fun. And on top of that, we're going to have changing conditions, so it's going to get wet and then it's actually going to start to dry up again. But the challenge that's presented in Automobilista 2 is it's not like, say, F1 games, for example, where either the entire track is wet or the entire track is dry. I actually just got shoved out of the way by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as Eric Jones goes wide. But in Automobilista 2, there can be parts of the track that are wet and there can be parts of the track that are also dry. So it really makes you think on the trade-offs of, okay, do I want to be on the wets or the dries in moments of where certain parts of the track are wet and dry. So we're probably going to have that presented to us here today in Brazil, which is going to be really exciting as well. So we've got two challenges of working our way through the field and, of course, making the decision on to switch tires or not to switch tires. Do we want to tough out the rain on the dry tires? You can. From my experience in this game, it's a little too forgiving in my opinion, where in the rain I can kind of hang on some dry tires when it should not be able to hang on at all. Like I should be crashing everywhere. So that's definitely something I would like to see improved upon. You're going to see it actually in this video, so you'll see it firsthand. But we've already worked our way up to P31 as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We're going to go for a move up the inside of him here into turn number 4, and we'll move ourselves in now to the top 30 behind Martin Truex Jr. and Shane Van Gisbergen is later in the lap. Now a big lunge up the inside of the 56, and now we'll be in behind that Trackhouse WeatherTech number 88. Obviously, they didn't quite get the road course AI perfect for Shane Van Gisbergen with this mod, as he should be, you know, like 5 seconds in front of the field already. But we're going to pass him down into turn 1. We're actually not only going to pass him, we're going to pass Cody Ware. We're going to get around Noah Gragson as well, or at least alongside him into turn number 1. He's going to re-clear me, though, into turn 2, as now we fight side by side with Cody Ware down into turn 3. We're going to try and go for a little switchback on him. He's going to cross us over. We're going to jump to the left side here if we get the opportunity on the run into turn number 4, and we'll make a nice little pass right here as we continue to just slowly and methodically work our way through this field. But I was trying to make up as much progress as I could before the rain got here, mainly because I just don't know what the speed of the AI is going to be in the rain. They might be better, they might be slower than me. It's really hard to tell. And obviously these passes back here, they're not going to be too difficult because these guys are, you know, running 20th and worse, as we continue now on to lap 3, which is actually lap 4. The race started, lap 1 was actually considered lap 0, so when we hit lap 15, that's actually the checkered flag. Is look at this, Ryan Preece going for a defensive move here on the lap 4 is what I'm going to call it, and we'll pass him nonetheless into turn number 4 and take that position behind home driver here, Elio Castroneves, in that Project 91. And now look behind us. You saw the windshield wiper on the number 60. The rain is officially starting to come down. Not seeing it on my windshield yet, but I'm sure it's just a matter of seconds until we do. And I do have a windshield wiper button on my wheel, so I was getting ready to press it here, just waiting for the rain. Oh, big moment there with Castroneves, and just after that, there's the rain. So I press the button, the windshield wiper goes on. There's 2 modes. You can have it on the mode I'm on, or you can have it on faster. So I immediately am like, okay, let's get the pit stop ready. So I got wet tires on, just in case I feel like we need to pit. It's just kind of about feeling. I feel like we might see some AI drivers stick it out and try to get through the rain, and I feel like we're going to see some come in, and I am right now kind of in a toss-up, because if you look up just below the rear view mirror, you can see how much the pace has fallen off as the rain starts to come down. We're nearly 2 seconds off the pace now as William Byron continues to lead over Bell and Kyle Larson. We make a nice lunge up the inside there of the 41 of Cole Custer, and we'll pass him, and now we try to run down the number 99 of Daniel Suarez. And as we continue towards the top 20 at this point, pit stops are kicking off this lap, actually coming to the start of lap 6. So there you see on the left side a bunch of drivers coming in. They're coming in for the wet compound tire. We are now up into P13, and we are sliding into turn 1. Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson, 2 top 3 drivers pitted for tires. Hamlin stays out alongside William Byron, but look at the rain just chunking it down on the 6th lap of this race. I mean, you can see it blowing down on the racetrack now. It is coming down, and finally the rain lights now decide to come on here on all the cars there as we have run down Daniel Suarez, but my pace is nearly 3 seconds. It is 3 seconds and more off the pace now. So I said I feel like it's time to come in because the problem is we don't know when it's going to get better, and now we're 4 seconds off the pace. So I'm like, okay, we're going to come in. We're going to get the wet tire on because the majority of drivers are coming in. Suarez is going to stay out. Byron and Hamlin have stayed out on the racetrack. Same for Austin Cindric, but the large majority of the field have come into the pits, including myself, getting down to a 52 mile per hour speed limit now as we'll come in and get these 4 tires. Now, the pit stops for next gen in this game, they're not authentic. They pit both sides of the car, but even doing that, actually the pit stops are semi-accurate in terms of time, at least for 4 tires. It's going to be about 8 seconds, which is about a second quicker than, you know, real life next gen pit stops, which, you know, kind of are in the low to mid 9s on a really good stop. We'll exit here just behind the 21 of Josh Berry, and we are just crawling on the pit exit on this wet tire. I could definitely go faster, so I was waiting for an opportunity like this, the shades of Sebastian Vettel in the Chinese Grand Prix in, what was it, 2016, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, 2015, 2016, one of those, and we're going to pass him, pass both those guys right there on the pit exit now, as we'll then immediately go after Ty Dillon. But look at this, we're already in the top 15, so now I'm starting to think we made a mistake because we've gained track position. As weird as that sounds, we made a mistake gaining track position. Well, the mistake is, I think the dry tires somehow still have enough pace to stay ahead of the guys that went to the wets, because we gain time by staying out an extra lap on dry tires compared to the drivers that pit for wets. And as we get really back up to speed here, I mean, we are absolutely destroying the pace of these guys around us. Now, there is an AI setting of how you can determine their pace in the wet conditions. You can change that. I left it on default for this video, and I'm wondering if maybe I should have turned it up because, yeah, I mean, I was absolutely dominating some of these guys that went onto the wet tires specifically. I should mention, maybe not necessarily the wet weather, but the wet tires was the drivers that I seem to have quite an advantage over. Now Daniel Suarez, Eric Jones are pitting. Byron and Hamlin have still remained on the racetrack. It looks like they're just kind of committed to staying out and waiting this thing out. There is a full course yellow scheduled to come out at a random point in this race, but look how wet the track is. There is in no world should the dry tire be able to hang on through this piece of racetrack. That should be an immediate crash as we have now run down the 45 of Tyler Reddick as well as the 9 of Chase Elliott. Reddick trying to go a bit defensive on me right there and actually go super cautious on braking here into turn number 4. And definitely, I feel like, yeah, I need to turn up the difficulty for the AI in the wet conditions. I feel like it'll be even more fun as now we should be able to pass this 45 and hopefully get this 9 as well. We're going to try and go around the outside of Chase Elliott. We'll even clear him before the apex. And next up's Daniel Suarez in that number 99. Daniel Suarez, if you remember, he did not pit when we came in. He stayed out longer than anybody just about, and sure enough, it worked out pretty well for him because he's also in the top 10 like myself now. William Byron would elect to come into the pits, by the way. So Byron pits, meaning Hamlin, Cindric, Custer, and Truex are the only 4 drivers that have not come into the pit lane. Very interesting. And, I mean, it seems to be working out for them. I don't know how, but it is. So there you see Hamlin all on his own. He's on the dry tire and he's just kind of hanging on. But as we progress to Hamlin, you see it looks like the track's actually starting to dry up now. It's the rain, as we were moving into these next few laps, the rain was really letting up. And now the track was starting to transition back to more of a dry state. You can see here on board lap 8 or lap 9, you can just see how much better the track is looking. We have driven away from everybody behind us, and the rain is pretty well coming to an end. So it's literally just a matter of seconds. I think the rain's done now. The rain's no longer coming down. So the rain has stopped, and the track is still damp for the most part, but obviously, what do you do now? We know there's a yellow still to come. Do we wait for that caution to think about pitting for a dry? Well, look how wet it is right here into turn 1. And there's the caution actually right there. Full course yellow is going to come out. Look how wet it is as I nearly lose it right there on the exit of turn 1. Everybody I was thinking might pit for dries. I don't know. What I did know is I'm running P7 right now, and they're going to see some flaws of the yellow flag system in this game, but I am going to come into the pits. I have elected, as I was driving the track, I saw how quickly it was drying, and I said, I'm going to come in and sacrifice track position and put on the dry compound tire, and hopefully once we go green, the track is dry enough for me to just be able to rip, and I was the only one that made this decision. So Hamlin, Cindric, Custer, and Truex are the top 4. They have dry tires. I'm the only other driver that's going to have dry tires, and now I'm trying to hustle this thing on the pit exit. So you have 2 laps of caution. You have 1 full lap of yellow, and then they go green at the end of the second lap. That's all you have is 2 laps to try and catch up to the leader, and then the race goes back green. So as I'm exiting the pit lane, I'm well aware that we are not going to catch up to the leaders before we go back green as we come out in front of Joey Logano. So yeah, it's really awkward how that works, and I would struggle because down into turn 1 under caution, look how wet it gets into turn 1, and guess who can't stop on the dry tire? And I'm gonna completely loop it around under caution, and Joey Logano is gonna go through, and I'm gonna give up a spot there, and as well to Noah Gragson. I'm gonna get it back on the road here, just in front of Stenhouse, but my goodness, was that embarrassing. We would be restarting P24, so the green flag had come out right here before I was even close to caught up to the main pack of leaders. But here's something that we have in our advantages. If I can survive turns 1, 2, and 3, we have a significant advantage everywhere else because the track, by the time we had gone green, the track had now dried up enough to where, well, you can see the difference in pace. Look at the difference. I am able to absolutely fly on this dry compound tire. Now watch right here though. Into turn number 1, we hit lap 12, which we know is lap 13. That means we got 3 laps to go. Look how wet it gets. You just see the shine in the racetrack, especially here into turn 1. So I am just limping it through, and you can see immediately Gregson, as soon as I enter this section of racetrack, he's able to hold pretty well with me. And then we get right here through turn 3, and I'm able to just rip again. And I'm gone at that point now. So we're P23, and we got 3 laps to take this massive advantage compared to everybody else on the wet tire. And where were we, P6 or P7 when we came into the pits? So let's see where we can end up recovering to, as I was absolutely flying past the competition around me. Kyle Larson was up next, and it took me a matter of a couple of seconds to get around the outside of him, and then you got Christopher Bell as well, and we should be able to just lunge up the inside in this number 87 Red Bull machine. And there we go, Elio Castroneves as well, going to be an easy pass on him. These guys on wet tires have absolutely no chance except for turns 1 and 2, but they have elected to stay out. They are not going to come back in. They're going to try and make it to the end and hope for the best. I mean, there's only one car, you know, that is threatening them, and that's me. So, I mean, it really isn't worth coming in for a dry at this point now, as we're coming to just 2 laps to go in this race, and we're to the back of the 21 of Josh Berry. That puts us now into the top 15. You can see the cars in front of us there. Justin Haley, we should be able to run him down pretty quickly as well, and sure enough, we would in just a few more seconds. Again, we're all over the back of him and just flying past him. Denny Hamlin, though, He's got the lead coming up to the final lap. He's actually got Austin Cindric and Martin Truex Jr. both within a second of him as they come to this final lap. But the question is, can they really compete with him? Look at these guys going wide here. I'm not sure if they're just searching for some moisture to get on those wet tires, which I'm sure are starting to heat up quite a bit now. But we are about to enter the top 10 as we come to the final lap of this race now. We've just passed Eric Jones, and this pass here on Kyle Busch puts us in the top 10, and what do we see here? 9th, 8th, 7th, and 6th. So we're basically going to get back to where we were as we're right behind the 99 of Daniel Suarez, lunge up the inside of the Freeway Insurance Chevrolet, and now to the back of Chase Elliott as well, and it's not even a competition now as we come through this front straightaway, now approaching the final lap ourselves. Denny Hamlin's already heading off into turn number 4. We clear the number 9, and William Byron's the last one that I think we're going to be able to get. Todd Gilliland in P5. I'm wondering if he's on a dry tire as well. I'm not 100% sure, but we pass William Byron. We move up into P6, and then I have to be super careful because turn 1 is still wet. It's not, soaked like it was earlier, but it's still wet enough to, if I get a little too aggressive, I'm going to loop this number 87 Red Bull Chevrolet around. So we get back up to some grip, and we're gone. Denny Hamlin, with some pressure from Austin Cindric's going to hold him off as they come through the final bend, and down the front straightaway, Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric, Martin Truex Jr., they all succeed by not pitting for wet and staying on the dries, toughing out the rain. Hamlin wins, and we have just a few corners to go ourselves at this point as we end up P6 here, long gone from P7 on back. We just have to simply bring this thing home. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of display of the road racing itself, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, the AI are really aggressive, and this is not even on the most aggressive setting. They will move you out of the way, like we saw with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. moving me out of the way. They will throw these defensive moves. They need to be more aggressive with each other. The AI are more aggressive with the player than they are with the actual AI themselves. But outside of that, that was a lot of fun, navigating the changing conditions, really having to drive the car at times as well. It was just a really fun experience, and I hope you guys kind of felt the same about that as well. Definitely, as we spin it out on the cooldown lap, definitely some settings we can continue to fine tune for a better experience than what we had here. Definitely want to see the rain definitely bring all the AI in though for a wet tire, because there's no way they should have been able to make the dries work for like they did there. But outside of that, it was a lot of fun. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.